Okay, so we're just gonna get started. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. So just go ahead.
All right. So very thankful that you invited me, Kristen. Thank you for inviting me. I am Johanna Sopo, Sopo. I think some people have a difficulty with that last name. I've been in the fitness industry well, professionally for more than 15 years, but pretty much in fitness all my life. Um, I got into fitness after many years of yo-yo dieting when my mom passed away of a heart attack, which struck me really hard. So I always thought that now that I know more that could be prevented, but that struck me really hard. And so I was like, wait a second, she died from a heart attack. She was overweight. So I definitely cannot let this happen to me. So this is where my yo-yo dieting started. And even though I've always loved to exercise, my dad used to take me to the gym with him. I didn't know how to eat. So I would exercise, not obsessively, because exercise is something that I always like to do, thanks to my dad. But I didn't know how to eat, so I spent years and years yo-yo dieting until I got pregnant with my daughter, and the misconception, my daughter is now 22 years old. And the misconception is, oh, you're eating for two now. So I'm like, yeah, it's time to eat now. And then I'll diet, whatever, I know how to diet. So this is where I drew the line because I got so big. I got so many complications. She was a preemie. I was pre-diabetic, preeclampsia. And this is where I said, okay, I can't, this is not working. I cannot continue to go up and down, and all around, because now it's not only me. I have a little baby now. So I started digging in more into the nutrition, and I was like, no more yo-yo dieting. I lost the weight. I got into how to eat correctly, how to lose weight correctly and balance. But then I turned, and then I actually got so much into it that I started teaching at the gyms. This has been 15 years, more than 15 years ago. Now I have 3 kids. And I started teaching at the gyms, over exercising, teaching like a million classes. I'm like, this is it. I found my jam. I'm never gonna gain weight again until I turned 40. And all these over exercising was not helping. I was constantly hungry. I was actually gaining some weight, but I was still exercising. I'm like, how can I gain weight if I'm still exercising? And this is where I got into more of the metabolic health for women over 40. I developed my 3M system for fat loss and fitness for women over 40. And this has been my passion, telling women that, over exercising, especially after you're 40, and dieting, it is not the sustainable way to get fit, to get into the goals that you want, especially after, I would say after 40, but I would say after after your 30s, even more so. Because what happens with your metabolism after you turn 30 or 40 is it's a history of what you've been doing with it for years prior to that. So if you're 20, and you're 25, you're like, I don't have to worry about that. You do, because everything that happens when you age is a result of how you've been treating your body and your metabolism for years before that. So this is what I work with women over 40 to help them getting and back in shape, health wise, definitely, and just overall wellness from the inside out.
So good. And let's tell listeners also what your age is.
Oh, well, I'm 50. I'm gonna be 51 this summer. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's the reason why I really wanted to have you on, because sometimes, I mostly work with women who are around 30, 40 years old, but sometimes I do have, 45, close to 50. And then people might say that, I kind of understand what you're saying, but I am older. Like I'm approaching my 50s. My hormones are a total mess. My doctor told me that because I'm approaching menopause, there's nothing to do. It's like lost game, right? Game over. Can't do anything about it anymore. Now I just have to accept that if I want to stay in shape or get in shape, the only way to do this is to eat like, the traditional 1200 calories, to a ridiculous diet, kind of like going this like yo-yo dieting trend that we so many of us are doing. So that's why I was like, I'm going to talk to you because you clearly know what you're doing. You look amazing. You have high energy, all the things that women in their 50s want to have and can have also. It's not only for those.
Totally. Yeah. The problem is, that the doctors this day, and it's a shame because they don't know. They're not preventing what's happening. Yeah. They're just going to give you a medicine when the damage is already done. Exactly. So the fact that they're saying there's nothing you can do, it's a huge misconception. There is actually a lot you can do because, and it's true, right? After we turn 40, actually, I would say after our 30s, this is what happens, right? We start losing muscle. So our metabolism starts to slow down if we don't take care of that. So if we were, burning 1200 or more than 2000 calories at rest, when our metabolism starts to slow down and we don't recover that muscle, every year we're going to be burning less and less. So our metabolism keeps slowing down. So what happens is that after we turn 40, there comes the hormones. So estrogen and progesterone start to dip. Insulin and cortisol, start to rise, and then this is when it becomes harder for us to lose weight. And then what happens is that we think, oh my God, I need to do more dieting. And that dieting and that over exercising, what's happening is that messing your hormones and it's messing your metabolism, because our metabolism is like a stress sensor. Right. So it's perceiving all the stress that's happening in our body in a regular 20, 30-year-old. Now get a 40-year-old, right, with estrogen and progesterone's dip, cortisol in the high, insulin in the high. So stress is already high and you're, dieting and over stressing your body even more. So your body is saying, wait a second, I need more. I'm stressing out. So it's messing your hormones. You're going to be hungrier. You're going to be craving more. So it's obviously the more you diet, the more you're stressing your metabolism, the more you're stressing your hormones. And who can diet or lose weight when your hormones are out of control, when you are hungry like crazy and you're like, oh my God, no, but I need to diet, but you're so hungry and you're craving everything inside, because your metabolism is stressing out your hormones and your hormones are not responding to what you're doing to lose that weight, so it's all backwards, so there is definitely things that we can do. We just need to learn how to eat and train in tune with our hormones. So we are not stressing our metabolism even more, and we're not stressing our hormones, and we're trying to diet and eat well, but our energy is down and our hunger and cravings are through the roof. So it is impossible to continue on that dieting cycle that is not helping us get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so true. And do you feel like sometimes we just tend to kind of blame the hormones for everything, right? Oh, it's my hormones. That's why I'm getting it. But we don't realize that there is a reason why the hormones are doing what they're doing.
Exactly. I mean, there is a reason, and all we need to figure out is what are we doing to stress our hormones. And we need to become experts on our own body, right? Mm-hmm. On what's going to work for us. If women continue to follow diet, they don't even know what's going to work for them because they're just following someone else's plan. And everybody's metabolism is different. What worked for your friend Mary is not going to necessarily work for you. So it's super important that we are in tune with our body, in tune with what our hormones are saying. If you're hungry all the time, if you're craving all the time, if your energy is low, if you're not sleeping, Obviously there's something wrong, with your hormones. So why would you continue to diet, and do, stressing out your body with extra workouts, because you're just getting into that circle of over stressing, overeating, and there is no way that you're getting out of there if you continue to do that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's such a common advice to just keep doing more. Again, coming back to doctors, they're such common advice to just exercise more. And mostly when they say exercise, they mean cardio exercise. So talk a little bit about that too. You are a big proponent of strength training, like I am.
Yes.
So what's the deal with that?
Yes.
Do you not recommend doing tons of cardio to keep the calories in check and weight in check and all that?
Yeah, that is actually the most backward approach that we could use, because the more the more cardio you do, actually the more exercise you do, you have to exercise and train smart, right? And at this age, it's not even so much about how much can we work out. It's about the kind of workouts that we do. They're actually in tune with our hormones, and they're not stressing our hormones even more. So yes, definitely weight training. What happens with cardio is that the more cardio you do, the more your metabolism is going to adapt, the more you have to do to be able to burn some more calories through that workouts. Because what happens with cardio is that you're only burning calories through the workout. So the more you do to get any effect from that cardio, the more you have to do. That's why, people spend hours in the gym on the treadmill or on a bicycle doing cardio, and it's not working. So what happens with weight training is that weight training works with your hormones, in tune with your hormones. There's so many benefits of weight training that I really don't know why people don't do something else, because honestly, it's all you have to do. Not all. I'm going to tell you what the other component is, but weight training, what it does is, first of all, it will help bring your stress down. It works in tune with your hormones, so it will raise your cortisol, because every workout we do raises cortisol, but it also raises human growth hormone. Both together, they'll help you burn fat. Obviously, weight training will help you build muscle. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn at rest. You don't have to work out every single day of the week. You actually can work out 30 minutes. Which is what I do 3-4 times a week, depending on your goal. And then if you want to get toning is basically, but I don't want to gain muscle. I just want to tone, but you're not toning your skin, right? You're toning your muscle. So if you want to look toned, you have to build muscle, and the only way that you're building muscle is by progressive weight training. 5 pounds weight is also not going to help you build muscle. It can. I always tell my clients, start with what you have, even if you have nothing, because that's another misconception. I cannot start, training with weights. I'm too old. I've never done it. I always say to my clients, start with nothing. If you have no weight, start with nothing, and we'll start building from there. So it is incredible, the transformations that I have just by people stop doing cardio every single day and then just start doing weight training. And I start them, it depends, 2 to 3 days of weight training, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, on a week. So, they're not working out every single day at all. And what they're also doing is walking, which is the other type of exercise. Actually, walking is a non-exercise activity. It's not speed walking. We're not just going to go, with a weight in our hand and do power walking. This is mostly leisure walking that is also going to help us bring our cortisol down, our stress level down, which after 40, after 35, at any age, it is the most important thing, especially, in this day and age. So weight training plus walking also helps with your brain. That is also one of the components of, your metabolism. That's why, my method is the 3M method. It's mind management, metabolism management, and movement management, because the brain is part of, your metabolism is the one that's going to send the signals, so everything's tied up together. But definitely weight training is the modality to work out at any age, but especially after 40. And yes, I started working out with weights way in my 30s. So, you don't have to be like, oh my God, you have to start super young. No, you can start now, today, with what you have and keep going from there.
Yeah, of course, it is beneficial to start as young as possible, but
of course,
it doesn't mean that we miss the train. You can't do anything now, right? We always can.
Oh, of course. I always say start as soon as you can, as young as you can, but the next time to start is now. It's today, so don't leave, you are not too old. No one is too old or too late. I have 65, 60-year clients that started training with weight in their 60, and they've lost, 10% body fat, they've dropped 5 sizes, wow. And they started training with me in their 60s. So right. Whatever doctor, whoever says, forget it, you're 40, you cannot do anything. Yes, you can. You just need to do what works for you and your metabolism. Stressing it out and dieting and extra cardio is definitely the opposite way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you said, even in 60s, and we have to think about it really, because as women, we also lose bone density and we have to keep that up. So for example, right now, my mom, who is 66, she started lifting weights only now, or not even weights, but some of this is body weight, some of this like a little bit of weight. And she has pretty low bone density. I'm thinking, I can do this already in my 30s, and I am, but because like she has not done resistance training before, and she's starting only now, and still better than nothing, right? Of course, I wish she had done it earlier, but you can't always tell people what they have to do.
Exactly. I mean, at least she's doing it, and that's great. I think now that I look back, to what my mom had, I mean, if she was still alive, I could have totally prevented, because she was a very, very stressful person, So obviously she was overweight. She couldn't even manage her stress. And I didn't know. I was in my 20s. I was partying. Yeah. So, but now I can see when I look back how stressed she was, how she was not working out, and that stress, make her overeat, and then menopause and everything that could have totally been prevented. So that's my thing. I don't want any daughter or any mom to go through what I went through, because it can be prevented.
Exactly. So how often do you meet a client who is your typical, what you described earlier, like the fitness junkie, or doing like a ton of stuff, fitness class after fitness class, and going crazy with the cardio stuff, and on this like high, what would I say? Like adrenaline junkie type of person. So how often do you see somebody like this and then have to take the intensity down, and what kind of results do you see if that happens?
Oh my God. How often is like, how about most of the time? Is very, I mean, I have everything, right? I have clients that need to lose weight, and, but I have, and then we need to modify their diet. But most of my clients, have come to me already overdoing the cardio, or they're already dieting. Their calories are low, because, the message is, you only need to worry about calories, only calories count. You only need a caloric deficit to lose weight. And yes, you need a caloric deficit, but there's so much more than that. So, which is your hormones and metabolism, because what I said before is like, what's the use of you trying to be in the caloric deficit if you cannot even control your hunger and your cravings? You don't have any energy, so you barely can work out, and you're not even sleeping. So, so my clients come to me, and the first thing I do is like, okay, just send me your nutrition. Let me see what you're doing. Let me see what you're eating. And they're just eating, less than 1,200 calories. and doing cardio and over or doing high intensity training, because that's the new modality right now. Everybody needs to do, and I'm not opposed to high intensity training, but it's not what we can do all the time.
Yeah.
So most of the clients, when they come in here, I have to tell them to stop the cardio. Mm-hmm. And it's been like a mindset transformation, because you believe, it was engraved in you that the only way that you can lose weight is do more cardio and burn more calories, So I see that a lot. People under eating like less than 1,200 calories and over exercising. So when I see that, the first thing I tell my clients is eat. This is, eat more for sure. And I want you to stop exercising. Mm-hmm. I want you to walk. And I can have them walking for 2 weeks until I can see that their hormones levels are coming down, their stress is coming down, their bloating, their inflammation, because that's something else. People are like, I'm so bloated, I'm so inflamed. Mm-hmm. And the more cardio you do and the more dieting you try to do, the more bloated and the more inflamed you're going to feel, because that's what your metabolism and that's what cortisol is going to do. So most of my transformation have been, definitely getting clients, and they'll tell me, they're like, months and years after, they'll say, wow, like you changed my life. I can't believe that I used to do so much cardio and diet and now I can eat, without worrying. I go to the gym 3-4 times a week, and it's not that craziness, it doesn't compare.
Yeah. How hard is it for you to convince people? Isn't it true that a lot of times they're so stuck with this idea but this is the way to do it, and I'm not going to let go of my cardio?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, let's see. You've been doing cardio all this time. How is that working for you? Is it working?
That's a good question.
No. How does that work? This is what I'm doing. I'm doing this diet. I'm like, okay. So you came to me for help because you couldn't lose fat. It don't matter what you try. So how are your workouts and your nutrition working for you? Well, they're not. So why would you keep doing something that's not working? Isn't that like the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results, right? So, that's exactly what I'm like, okay. So, if that cardio and that nutrition that you're doing was working for you, then you wouldn't be here, right? Asking for my help and paying me money. So, it's a whole mindset process. That's why I work also with mind management, because our thoughts, our beliefs are going to create our thoughts, and they come automatic. Our thoughts are going to determine our actions. Sure. So if our beliefs and thoughts are on the way, no, I need to do more cardio, then our actions are going to be geared towards that, and they're not going to give you the results that you want. So it's a matter of reframing the thoughts, reframing the beliefs, so we can actually take the actions that we need to use to lose the weight and to get the results that you want. So it's a little process, but once you know that you're doing something that is not good for you and it's not working, then why would you continue that? It's like having a toxic relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Right? Like that codependency, it's not good for me, but I can't leave it,
Pretty similar to that. Yeah, that's so true. Have you ever heard people say that, oh, but I've never heard this advice before? It can't be true because that's not the mainstream stuff. Like, you must be a little bit like out of your mind for telling that. Because I've heard that. Have you heard that?
You know what? No. But mostly it's like they've heard it, but they don't believe it. And it's not what they hear a lot. Mostly the mainstream media and the social media and most younger trainers and Insta trainers that are coming out now. It's like, you only need to lose. And by the way, man, that have no freaking, issues. They do, but not the hormonal issues that we have. All you need is, a caloric deficit. So that's all we see, so when clients come to me, they're a little bit older, that when they come to use up, obviously, maybe they've tried more, of more of that cardio and more of that dieting. So by the time they come to me, I think they realize it's not working. They just have a hard time believing, that how come it doesn't work? Everybody says it does. Everybody says is what we need. Even my doctor told me, go out and do more cardio and cut your calories, right? So I think they've heard it, but they don't believe it because the opposite message is more prominent.
Yeah, for sure. It's so true. It's so hard to go like what you have heard like pretty much like all your life, right? And now somebody, and then maybe you're just like slowly starting to believe this, like, okay, maybe I give this a try. Let's see what this is about. And it will take some time for little like this change to happen in your brain that, okay, maybe it's not working because I have evidence. I am the evidence of this not working. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We need to be patient. We cannot just expect that, okay, I want to do this change. Like I realize that cardio is not working, and I'm going to do this change and it's going to start working immediately. I mean, it doesn't go like that, especially when we've been trying to lose weight and neglecting our metabolism and not listening to our body for years. That's why you're doing a great work, talking to, to a younger group than me, saying it starts now. Like, this prevention starts now, in their 30s or even beyond. Before.
Do you have any examples of like really transformational stories, like from your clients, somebody who has transformed in a major way?
Actually, they all do. But I have this. I love body transformations. Obviously, that's what I do. But the most transformations that I enjoy the most are the mindset transformation. These clients that have, they've been only doing cardio. And for months I was like, this is the way. And once they realize and start seeing results and they start to believe that they don't need to, stress their body and overdo cardio. I mean, I have clients that have not done cardio since they started working with me. And they lost the weight. So those are the transformations that I enjoy the most. Obviously I had women, like 60-year-old women that have been doing cardio and not weight and dieting all their lives. And they come to me, I need to lose, all this pounds. And this 66-year-old woman, she'll say, oh my God, you not only changed my life, but now I have, and she's like, don't say that about me in public, because she wrote me a thing saying that her sex life is even better than ever.
That's awesome.
She's like, oh, don't use my name on that one. I'm like, why? Don't you want your friends to know that you have the better sex life than them? Because you're eating more and working out less. So those, and this woman lost, like 10% body fat. I don't even would like to talk about weight because, do you want to lose weight or you want to lose fat? Most people want to lose fat. So that's what I focus on fat loss. And then that's a girl, that's a 66-year-old. And then I have from the other spectrum, 35-year-olds that come to me and they're not even have the hormonal issues that a 60-something woman has. But then they come to me 35 doing all this cardio. And once they stop doing the cardio, they cannot believe that they actually transform the body. And it happens to all these women that are only doing cardio, or overly exercising and eating less. And they all of a sudden they're like, are you sure I can eat all? They don't even believe that they can eat this amount of calories. It's just crazy. And they don't have to work. Those are the transformations that I love the most. And I can see them from all my clients, actually, that start like this, thinking they need to over exercise and eat less and exercise more.
Yeah. And it all takes time though, because you're not going to change everything quickly. And I think that's the issue with the dieting mentality. Like everything has to, like 2 pounds have to go down by tomorrow, right? Like that type of stuff. But a lot of times you actually have to do a little bit of metabolic healing first because of all the years of dieting. So then
exactly,
your weight's just does not come down, maybe goes up a couple of pounds, but this is the process, and we need patience. Like that's the biggest enemy, impatience, and like wanting to get everything instantly, which is what we have nowadays everywhere, right? Everything has to be so quick. So
everything has to be fast. And, and this is what I tell my clients, you're a masterpiece. Every time you have a life goal, do you want it like the next second? Right? No, because you're building, a goal, a business, a future. So you are your most important masterpiece. Why would you want this change on you to be done so quickly and so sudden? Just be patient. This is what I tell my people when they start my program. This is a lifestyle transformation. This is your fitness lifestyle that you're building. What happens when you come here and you're thinking that this is a diet and you have to, get results by next week is not going to work, because this is not a diet. So what are you going to do after we're done? You're going to don't exercise again, don't eat nutritious food again. So you're going to gain all the weight again, and so people need to realize that the way they lose the weight is the way they have to continue. So it has to be sustainable. And actually, the slower you go, the better it is. So I always say to my people, sit down and take a deep breath and relax, because this is not Amazon and your body's not going to be delivered overnight. Yeah. So it's going to take time and patience. So sit down, buckle up, and stop exercising like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It really is entire life transformation a lot of times. I totally agree.
It is.
And of course, it takes time, and everything that we have wanted and everything that has been worth getting, isn't it always true that it takes effort? It takes time. That's just how it is. So would you share with us, what does your workout routine personally look like?
Well, personally, I'm an automatic pilot, because I've been working out, and weight training for years. I have to go through phases. Pretty much I go on a muscle building phase, because if I don't overeat calories, my muscles are not going to continue to build, so I love my muscle and I love to maintain my muscle. So I go on a muscle building phase, which it will be about 4 to 6 weeks. And to be honest, I just eat. I don't count calories. I base my nutrition on protein. I don't skip starches, especially if I'm trying to build muscle. I always tell my clients, please eat your starches, please eat your carbs. If you don't do this, your body's going to overcompensate, and it's going to, because your body needs it. Yeah. So I go and actually, I don't work out more than 4 times a week. When I do my live workouts with my group, that'll be a 5th workout that I do with them. But most of the time, I work out 3 to 4 times, depending on the goal. And so if I am muscle building phase, I will go to the gym 4 times. And then split upper body, lower body, more of my muscle group. If I'm in just maintenance state, I'll just probably go 3 times a week, and I'll just listen to my body for my nutrition. And if I'm hungry, I eat. If I don't, I don't, because, I'm working out less. Your body has the ability to not be as hungry. And that's another thing. If you are not working out, you're not going to be that hungry. You're not going to have cravings, and your energy is going to be sustainable if you're eating well. So work out less, then I can manage my hunger and my cravings even more. So I can eat less, and that doesn't mean that I'm starving, myself. I'll just probably maybe, because I don't count calories or food, eat maybe a little bit less amount. But when I'm in building muscle, I'll just eat a lot, and I'll eat my protein, and I'll eat my starch, and I'll make a big plate of protein and starch, which could be rice or sweet potato, or bread, if I feel like eating bread, and then some fat. Also, so I eat about, maybe 4 times a day when I am in maintenance mode. I'll just eat 3 meals and a snack. But the important thing is that you eat what you need to eat in those meals, not how many meals a day you eat. And then when I'm in muscle building, I'll probably eat like 5 times a day. I'm mostly, but I eat like a pound or a pound and a half of protein. And if I'm hungry, I'll eat more protein. So, so 3-4 times I eat during the day, maybe more. When I'm in maintenance mode, when I'm in muscle building mode, maintenance mode, I just listen to my body and work out 3 times a week. I've never, like, if I'm not teaching my clients a live class, I'll work out 3 to 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a good example that, first of all, you don't have to do anything excessive, even when you are in a muscle building phase. 4 workouts a week, totally normal, totally doable, right?
And my workouts don't last more than 1 hour, because then again, the more you work out, the more your metabolism is going to want more food. And that is fine during muscle building, because a lot of those extra calories will go to muscle, and you cannot build muscle if you're not eating. You won't even burn more calories if you're not eating enough. So eating enough, eating with a nutrition that matches your training, it's key. So if you're working out more, you have to eat more. If you're working out less, then you can match that nutrition with that exercise, and you can actually be in a lean out phase, which I call that. But you cannot get into a lean out phase without first balancing your hormones and your stress and your metabolism, which it might as well at the beginning look like just walking and eating. For most people that have a stress metabolism of over dieting and over exercising.
Yeah. So I'm curious, you said you don't counter track anything. So for example, with your client who sends you first, her food log or whatever, you said you want to see that, which I totally agree with. You have to understand where the person is at, right? So if you don't do any tracking, counting, how do you help them to eat more? What kind of guidelines do you have for them?
I do have guidelines, obviously, because, we cannot eat everything inside and lose weight at the same time. So there are guidelines. We will go into counting calories only and macronutrients if necessary. Because like I say, I like the way my clients lose their weight to be as sustainable and as easy as possible for them. So because the way they build their fitness lifestyle is the way I want them to continue, which is the way I've done it, So I teach them how to do their measurement with their hands, which is something that you can use wherever you go. Yeah. And after years or after some time doing it, they're doing it in the back of their head. So they know their portions. So you're basically doing 1 pound of protein or more, depending on the goals, but protein first, a fist of vegetables, a thumb of fat, and a hand cup of carbohydrate, like a starch. There's 2 types of starch, right? The vegetable carbohydrate and the starchy carbohydrates. The starchy carbohydrates, it's hand cup. And then we vary depending on the goals, right? And then I can see their calories on the back end when they log it in my app. So they're not counting calories. They're just sending me what they eat. But I can see their calories,
Right.
And from the beginning, like I actually posted in my story yesterday some of the feedback that I give to women that begin, and they all say your food looks great, but your calories are too low. I put like 5 examples, and I could have kept going, but I didn't want to just take all the space. But that's the thing. That's what I see the most, it's the lower calories. So I tell them, these are your measurements, log in the nutrition. And if you are hungrier, you're going to eat more protein, because one meal is going to affect another and the other and the other. So yet they begin with their fat loss plate in the morning, which means a whole complete fat plate, not skipping starches, especially in the morning, because you need that energy, so your protein, your palm of protein, your thumb of fat. And this could be, if you're in a hurry, you don't have to make an elaborate breakfast. You can even make it into a protein shake, your fist of vegetables and your hand cup of starch. So that's your fat loss plate. So the first thing in the morning, when you begin your first meal, make your fat loss plate, even if it's in the form of a shake. And it's not like it's a fat loss plate that has magic qualities that's going to make you lose fat, right? I call it a fat loss plate because it's actually going to help you with energy and then subtract your hunger and your cravings so you can actually lose the fat, and it's going to help you build the muscle and all that stuff. So when you do your fat loss plate, because one meal affects the other, if you're hungry right after you eat, you're missing something. So you probably need more protein. If you are energy still low, then you're probably missing some starch, so, do your plate and see how you feel after. You're feeling great until your next meal, then you must repeat that plate,
Yeah.
Not the same food, but the same amount and the same, way that you build that plate. And so because one meal will follow another and the other, then, you should be able to continue with that. But the portions are that. And then depending on their goals, then I would say eat more protein, you need to eat more starch. Some people need more starch than other, depending on their goal. And then if I have to count calories, because there's we need to because there's a complication and they're not losing fat, and okay, let's see what's going on. Let's count your calories. Let's count your macronutrients. That is the last resource. And it's also a good idea, to have that in the back of your head, like how much you need for fat loss. But I'll do it temporarily. And it's like 5% of my clients that need that. 95% of my clients will lose weight, without counting calories and using just, portion control.
Well, that's really helpful, I think, for a lot of people, because they don't want to, not everybody wants to track. Like I personally work with people who mostly do track. I would say like 95% who do. So we're like the opposite. So this is a really good opportunity for somebody who does not want to count everything. So reach out to you and, learn how to do it your way. It might be more beneficial because people are different. Some people really want to track and count to make sure that they hit everything. And I get that. It can be a really good tool. And I also get the opposite side of it, which is like, I don't want to. I feel like maybe it's not the time in your life to add the stress to your life, but you still want to take care of your nutrition. Then your approach might be better for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the thing, if you're already stressed out with diet and nutrition and what to eat and not to eat and cutting calories, why am I going to give someone that's already stressed out with nutrition another assignment? Okay, well, now you need to start counting calories and measuring your food, when they don't even know how to eat for fat loss yet. So everything starts in stages, that'll be the last result, but I want it to be as sustainable as possible, and a lot of women my age don't have time to, to count calories or measure food. They have kids, and or college kids or, life, so they don't want to. They wanted an easier way that is more in tune with their lifestyle. So that's how I start them. And then I say, if we need to count calories and macronutrients, we will, but that's not the goal. The goal is to make it as easy as possible so you can continue for life.
Sure. So you mentioned that sometimes you're doing live workouts with your clients. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you have to offer? Do you have coaching programs? Do you have one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, mostly I do one-on-one because I love working with people and this connection and in this relationship on a one-on-one, I love connecting with people. And then because I am so full with one-on-one, I developed my metabolic optimization program, which is basically is the same, but I work instead of a one-on-one call. Like I work on a call, and we discuss nutrition with the group. And it's basically the same program and the same approach, but with a one-on-one, I will do individualized workouts and individualized nutrition. And I will check, the workouts, nutrition, and everything. With the program, it could be for someone that is more independent. Obviously, they have all the guidelines and all the nutrition and everything that I do, but it's more on a group base. The nutrition is not individualized and the workouts are not individualized, but constantly talking to the group and telling them how everything should be. So, and then the ones that graduate, from either program, they get to go into a membership, which is mostly workouts, based obviously for women over 40. And they're all phase workouts. So yeah, one-on-one metabolic optimization group program and the membership from all the ones that graduate, because, it's mostly more advanced workouts.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And are these programs open right now? If anybody's interested, can they reach out to you and ask about them?
Yes, actually. I'm taking one-on-one clients right now, very limited time, because I always have limited spots, because my clients never leave my one-on-one. Like I have clients when I even had a gym. Forgot to mention, I did have a gym, a very full gym for 5 years before COVID, actually. And right before COVID, I was like, I think I'm going to go online. Uh-huh. And I like right before COVID hit, and I transfer all my clients online. So that was something. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying that for?
If you have any room for more people right now.
Oh yes. So anyway, yes, I do. I'm taking one-on-one. I always take one-on-one when I have those openings. I always say people take it to, like for my group, I will probably do a launch. For one-on-one is very low key because I don't have a lot of openings. So I always say my people, I'm not gonna announce that. You'll probably see a post on my story. They'll say I have 5 openings. So I would say just take it when it comes, when you see it, because it's not often that because my clients never leave. So, so right now, actually, because I just finished with a group program, I open up some spots for one-on-one. So this is the time if you want to get into my Instagram and just send me a message, because I have an application. But because I like to talk to people more, right now I'm going to, send me a message, through my Instagram, say I'm interested in, in your one-on-one program, and then we'll talk about it. I think that's the easiest way.
Okay, so I make sure that I put your Instagram handle to the show notes too, and YouTube comments as well, so people can find you. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Any closing thoughts would be for any woman, any age that's trying to lose weight. If you are in your 20s, start taking care of your metabolism now. If you want to lose weight, you don't need to diet, okay? I mean, 20-year-olds metabolism, it's like, please, you don't even need to diet. Just go for a walk, go work out, just moderate your nutrition and you'll lose weight. Yeah. Now, if you're in your 30s, start training with weights if you haven't already. And if you are in your 40s, your most important thing to do is not dieting, is managing your stress and your sleep. So your cortisol can come down and your hormones are balanced and you're not hungry and crazy, and your hormones are balanced and you're not crazy hungry, crazy cravings, and your energy is actually, good for actually to do what you want to do to lose that weight. So prevent, take care of your metabolism, train with weights, and manage your stress.
So good. Yes, I think this is all we need, really.
Oh, and sleep. Please sleep.
Of course. Yeah, that's a big one. I feel like this is the starting point. Like if this is off, like you cannot do any of the other things that you mentioned, right?
Oh, yeah, that is the first thing.
No energy. Yeah. So as much
if you are not sleeping 7 to 8 hours most nights, forget it, because your cortisol is going to be all the way here, and you're going to wake up craving junk.
Yeah.
So how can you follow any plan with that situation? So yeah, sleep is number one. I would always say, actually, I have a client, that is going through some stuff and she's not sleeping and she's not able to work out. I said, you know what? Don't work out. Don't do anything. Just sleep. That's all I want you to do for the next 2 weeks. I want you to manage your sleep and figure out a way to sleep. Then we'll talk. So yeah. It's super important.
It is. It really is. All right. That was so good. Thank you so much for being here today. I'll make sure that people can find how to reach out to you. And I'm sure I'll talk to you again very soon.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.